Hey yo, welcome into a brand new episode of the Review at Rob Show. Appreciate you hitting that play to come over here and hang out with me, man. Much appreciated. On to this week's episode, we talk about something different than I normally talk about on the show. Normally, it's all movie reviews, right? But on this week's episode, we talking about something completely different, man. I got the opportunity to go on vacation with my brother, Tombstone Josh. Check out the stuff he puts out. He's got cool stuff. We went to the brand new theme park in Universal Orlando, Epic's Universe. Got to experience that as annual pass holders. They're doing an annual pass holder preview for the new theme park, man. So we got to experience that, and I'm going to give you my review of that, man. My thoughts on it, my pros, my cons. What did I eat? Did I get any merch? All that kind of fun stuff, man. That's what we're going to be talking about on this week's episode. So again, appreciate you coming over here to hang out with me. Without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into this, man. So Epic Universe, highly anticipated. I love Universal to death. If you didn't know already, I love Universal to death, man. It's my favorite theme park in the world. I call it my home because it feels like home every time I get there and walk around in there and all that. And they're introducing a brand new theme park later this year called Epic Universe. So they have Universal Orlando Resort, they have Islands of Adventure, they have Volcano Bay, water theme park, but still a theme park. And now they're introducing Epic Universe to the world. And they've been doing team member previews, and now they're starting to do annual pass holder previews. And like I mentioned, my brother Tombstone Josh and I got the opportunity to go over there and hang out and experience all that stuff, man. So, guess basically where to start off is we got Stella Nova as the resort that we stayed at for the day that we went to Epic Universe. So we wanted to get that full experience, right? Stay at one of the brand new resort hotels and go to the new theme park and all that good stuff, man. So, first thing to talk about here is that it is under technical rehearsal. So the theme park doesn't officially open until May 22nd. So right now they're going through the rehearsal phase, checking everything out, going through the kinks, making sure everything works. So during this time period, rides will experience fluctuations. It'll be up, it'll be down. Maybe they won't start at all. Shows, same thing. There may be some hiccups here or there, and they're still working those things out and all that stuff. Second thing to talk about, staying at Stella Nova gives you early park admission for Epic Universe. So if you call them and ask them that, call two people, both of them said no. But we went there and we found out that yes, you do get early access to the park an hour early, and that gets you to Super Nintendo World and the Dueling Coasters ride in Celestial Park, Stardust Racers. So that's what you'll get with the early park admission. So we went over to Super Nintendo World, and that is where our trip started off. All right, so all of these worlds have their own portals that you walk through, man. Like big circle, you walk through those portals and all that stuff. I did take a couple pictures, didn't really feel too comfortable putting them up. One, maybe people are trying to avoid stuff. Two, there's a lot of other people in the photo, and I don't want to put them on the internet. Vlogging at the park and all that stuff is fine and probably fine to do a picture, but at the same time, I just goofy thought process with me, but maybe the right thought process. But they all have their own portals, and Super Nintendo World was the first world we went to. And going through that portal, man, such an incredible experience. I won't overly explain what happens with going through that portal, but if you've played the video games, if you've played any of the Mario games, you got an idea of what happens, and it's such a cool experience. It's such a geeky, fun way to enter that world. But you go through that portal, and then you're walking through a castle, and then you're just the land is right there, and you look at it and just awe-inspiring, mouth freaking open, and you're like shock of how freaking cool and immersive this land really looks. It's like you just walked right into the video game and all that stuff. You've seen pictures online, all that. They look great and fantastic. Does it no justice, man. You walk in there and you're just captivated by everything you're seeing, the animatronics moving around the world, and it looks like the side scroller video game, and you're looking at this going on over there, and you're looking at that over there. You're like, holy freaking crap, this is insanity overload is what you're getting into with the immersion of this whole land. And on top of that, how big the land is, because you don't really think about that from the outside prospect. You're like, oh, we're going to go, this portal is going to be what it's going to be, probably be small, compact. No, dude, not at all. Like very big, not freaking claustrophobic at all or anything like that. And you just walk in there, you've got your space to walk around. It's two freaking stories. Like you walk into this story, then you walk downstairs, you get the other parts and all that stuff. Like it is freaking insane the amount of work they put in there. There are three rides in this area, two in Super Nintendo World, and then we go to Donkey Kong Country, which has the other ride. So you get Super Mario Kart Bowser's Challenge is one of the rides, and then you also get Yoshi's Adventure as one of the rides as well in the Super Nintendo World. Fun rides. the Mario Kart Challenge 3D 4D experience. Yoshi Ride, pretty much people mover that moves you around the area of the land. You do have a little game you play on the ride where you're trying to find eggs and all that stuff. Very fun, very kid like, but it is what it is there. And then in Donkey Kong Country, this is where you get the Minecart Madness ride that you may or may not have heard of. Thrill ride, roller coaster ride, very cool looking, very fun looking, and all that stuff. Now, the pros is, of course, how great the world looks. The con is kind of a con for Universal in general, is that the rides themselves are not the most inclusive aspects of things. So, when myself being a bigger guy, both in weight and height, these rides are not accessible to me, which sucks. I can, not to put Universal or Disney, but that's a weight I don't have on me when I go to Disney. I'm like, I know I can ride their rides when I go to Disney. They're more inclusive. At Universal, it's tougher, and I can understand like roller coasters and stuff like that, but like a 3D, 4D ride experience, you're kind of pushing it, a little bit with the not being able to have inclusive access for everybody. Even with Yoshi's Adventure Ride, which I was able to do, it was the only ride I was able to do at the whole Epic Universe. Um, I was able to do it, but it was the most uncomfortable thing in the world. It's a little lap bar seat, but the problem, not so much the belly, but it was the knees and the legs where you're just crunched in there and they're just smashed in there. And I've seen other vlogs now that I've watched, been able to go to Epic Universe. I've watched other vlogs of people that I've watched, like Chris the girl, watch her vlog. She's like probably 3 times smaller than I am. And she even said it was tight in there. Like it's a tight flipping ride. So just throw it out there because I know there's people out there in the world like me that are wondering, can I go to this park? And I've seen it unfortunately on X, Twitter, whatever you call it, where people are talking about not being able to ride the ride. And it sucks. It's disheartening. It's depressing to a little bit to a degree, but it's a part of the thing. And I wanted to bring it up here as a con because it's not all inclusive for everybody. And I wish Universal would be better at doing stuff like that. I can ride Spider-Man, right? I can ride Transformers. I can ride Jurassic Park River Adventure, which is freaking wild because that ride has an 80-foot drop in it. So it's like, you know but I can't ride the 3D 40 ride. I don't know, but it from what I heard, my brother Tombstone Josh did it. He thought they were all awesome. He did do the Yoshi one. I did the Yoshi one. Yoshi one's fun, tight, extremely tight fit, but it's fun. I just bring that up because it needs to be talked about as something that's experienced at this park. You can obviously go to Epic Universe, still have a good time because again, it looks incredibly awesome walking in there. I cannot fully explain or put into great detail with words about how incredibly feel how incredible it feels, how immersive it feels to walk into something like Super Nintendo World and just be captivated by everything. See, same with Donkey Kong Country, man. Donkey Kong Country is probably my favorite area of the Super Nintendo world because it's just so flippin' cool. It's fun. I like the vibe in there. I love the animatronics. Big, big animatronic park, by the way. We'll talk about that probably a little bit more, but big animatronic park. They got animatronics going everywhere, and I wish them the best of luck. This is out in the heat of Florida and the rain and storms and all that stuff in Florida, but man, those animatronics are so good. They're moving so smoothly because the park is just opening up and all that stuff, and just fun stuff to experience in Donkey Kong Country, Super Nintendo World all together. I sat in Donkey Kong Country and had myself a little snack that I very much enjoyed. Well, you know what? Screw it. We'll pull it up now. I'll talk about it later. But I got this thing right here. There's my dumb face. But I got this thing, the Donkey Kong freaking treat. I don't know what it's called, but I saw it online. I'm like, immediately, I have to get this thing. So as you see there in the photo, comes in that barrel shaped cup, um, which is pretty much a souvenir. Because as you can see a little bit there as well, there's another cup inside of that cup to keep your souvenir cake freaking cup clean, right? And then you can't kind of see. I'll show you in a second because I got it beside me. But you got that. But there's a cup in there that's holding a waffle cone. So there's like fruit juice at the bottom of the cup. Um, the plastic cup that's in there. There's fruit juice at the bottom of the cup. Then there's a waffle cone on top of that holding ice cream. The ice cream is banana flavored. And then there's just all kinds of other stuff going on in there with the ice cream itself. So the ice cream's banana flavor. They've got caramel popcorn pieces in there, like actual puffs of popcorn in there, and like candies, like chocolate candies in there as well. A lot of stuff going on in that thing. And you know what else is going on? Deliciousness. That thing was delicious. Highly recommend getting that if you like. If you don't like banana flavor stuff, you're not gonna like it. But I enjoyed it. Like I'm a big fan of that thing. I can't wait to get it more. And I enjoy the cup as well. So here it is. As you see here, here's the cup again. is what it looks like. It is a cup you can use. I appreciate that Universal Epic Universe does not put the actual treat inside the cup, so you can keep the cup clean to take home or carry around with you and all the stuff. And of course, rinse it off in the bathroom if you need to. But it says Donkey Kong Country on the back there. Probably can't see it because my camera stinks, but it says all the stuff you want it to say: Super Nintendo World, Universal Studios, all that stuff. Hand wash, do not microwave, all that stuff. Cool cup. The other thing to talk about with this cup is it comes like this, right? Where it's showing you this thing. It's showing you like a picture of Donkey Kong. It says Donkey Kong Country, he's throwing the barrel, all that stuff. My dumb behind did not realize this was a spoon, right? Because I just saw it like this with all the treat. Pull the photo back up. like you see it there in the corner to the right. Like that's how it looked in there. I had no idea that was a tree. I thought it was like a little stand thing. Like, hey, cool, look at this little pin we put in your ice cream to show Donkey Kong Country. You know what they do with that stuff. I didn't know it was a spoon, man. I was like, how am I supposed to eat this ice cream? So I was just like breaking off a waffle cone and like, okay, we'll just scoop it, eat. Then it'll eventually melt into the juice and we'll just drink it like a milkshake. But I got to the point where I pulled it out. I'm like, freaking spoon, of course. But so yeah, that's a little tip for you. It's a spoon in there if you're wondering where the spoon is at. Very delicious though, very worth it, and a cool souvenir that you can use later on. So from there, that's pretty much Super Nintendo World. Awesome, incredible, fantastic land. Probably my favorite portal of all the portals I went through. Maybe not, because the next land we went to, oh my God, my babies. The next land we went to was Dark Universe. And Dark Universe is my absolute 100% most anticipated land of all the new lands that was being offered, or that is being offered at Epic Universe. It's just I love the Universal monsters. Like I'm looking right here beside me. I got a couple of the Funko Pops, man. I love the houses at Halloween Horror Nights every year. Like the Universal monsters, they're ingrained in my soul. They're my thing. I got the Bride of Frankenstein poster up there. Like I love the Universal monsters, and having a full themed horror vibe of a land was such an awesome thing for them to do, and something that a lot of people us wanted. It's because there's a lot of us horror loving people out there, horror, geez, loving people out there who just were clamoring for something this, and the portal for this one is so freaking beautiful and it's so incredible and all that stuff. You walk through it. I did a video walking through it, the TikToky video, if you will, walking through it. It's up on my socials and all that stuff. Review it, Rob. And it's just, I think it's the best portal entry of all the portals and all that stuff. You know what? I'll put it the slide head of Super Nintendo World, honestly, because I just love that whole portal, the lightning, the purple, and all that stuff, and the vibe. And then you're going in there, you're like in a cemetery, and you're walking this way. And I love the callbacks to the Frankenstein movie that you're seeing while you're going through there. And you turn the corner, and it's the most wonderful land that you can imagine it ever being, especially for horror loving people. Like that is just everything you could hope for and dream of, especially Dark Universe and all that stuff. They have two rides in this land. They have the big Mama Jamma, Monsters Unchained, the Frankenstein Experiment, and they have Curse of the Werewolf roller coaster themed around, of course, the Wolfman, the werewolf, and all that stuff. And again, couldn't do either one of the rides because they're not fat inclusive, but it's my own fault. I don't blame them for that. But at the same time, make your rides more inclusive. But I did get to, I love the werewolf area and all that stuff. There's some cool theme stuff there, and I bought merch there as well. So I was trying to find some stuff. I'm also known as Wolfman Rob. I have a show called Into the Fog of the Wolfman Rob where I talk Halloween Horror Nights. I was looking for some werewolf stuff. The Wolfman's not my favorite monster by any means, but I do like the Wolfman. I like the lore and all that stuff. So I picked up, and I needed a new lanyard pouch. Like I saw shirts, and some of the shirts were cool, but some of them are kind of corny, and some of them are just not. Couldn't really make a decision on if I want them or not. Probably next time I go, maybe I will end up getting one. I don't know, but I got this. I got this lanyard. If you can see it there, Curse of the Werewolf, and of course that's the name of the ride. And then on the back where you put your IDs and all that stuff on there, also says Curse of the Werewolf logo, and then this cool part right there. You got the werewolf. You got Curse the Werewolf on the back. It's one of these stretchy deals, and all that stuff. Like I liked it. I love the design of it and all that stuff. I'm like, gonna need it. It's gonna be functional, right? So that was the other merch I got as well at the park. So again, didn't get to experience the ride itself. My brother did both. He said both of them were awesome. He highly raved about the Monsters Unchained ride. Now, while I didn't get to do that, and the ride did go down multiple times that day, and I think throughout the whole testing, it's gone down a couple times. I did walk the queue because that was one thing I was going to do. I was like, if I can't ride it, whatever, I'll walk the queue. We'll have fun there. Um, and we did that, man. And walking through that queue, the queue was so freaking, oh my God, the queue was so breathtakingly, awesomely cool for any horror loving fan. Any fan of the Universal Monsters catching the vibe. Now, of course, it's new, like creations of the monsters and all that stuff from like looks and all that stuff. You've seen previews and commercials and all that stuff. It's not their classic look that we're used to, but they still look freaking BA, dude. Like they still look freaking awesome and incredible in that queue. Oh my God, the stuff going on in the queue again, being as vague as possible because I don't want to spoil stuff for people. Trust me. Trust me when I tell you that queue, man. Whew, perfection. Perfection is what's going on in that queue. Um, oh, it's so freaking good, man. It's so good. I don't know if I should say it or not, but again, remember what I said earlier about animatronics? Woo! Um, the land does also have a makeup, where you makeup effect area where you can get makeup done. I inquired about the Wolfman makeup. I thought about getting it, but I was like, price wise, it was like 40 something dollars. I was like, I don't really want to pay that amount, but they did talk to me about it, and they said how it's based around that being able to fully melt away while you're walking around and all that stuff. Because that's a worry if you're spending close to $50 for something. It's like it's gonna go away pretty quickly or what. But it's also at the same time like I'm gonna wash this off the next day. I don't know. We'll see. Highly debating doing that as well, just for the experience. But Dark Universe is just it's the land you could absolutely hope it to be by all means. Like it's just so freaking good, man. Um trying to think. So Dark Universe character meet and greets. So I'm working on the app to pull up everything here, which you're gonna need the app for most of this stuff. They are character meet and greets. Invisible Man is walking around, and that sounds hilarious, but he's got the wraps on. Invisible Man's walking around. There is a lady playing the violin as well, and of course you can meet the Bride of Frankenstein and Frankenstein's monster. Got the chance to meet the Bride of Frankenstein, and such the actress does such a freaking incredible. She looks amazing in the get up, anyways, but she's doing such an amazing job of how she's interacting with you and all that stuff. Like pretty much how you would expect, a monster to just like trying to get used to the world and all that stuff, and like talking to you and all that stuff. So cool. I didn't see Frankenstein's monster, but that was really cool, man. Like she was really good. And then dining wise in Dark Universe, they have a couple dining spots. The big one is Das Steakhouse, where we did eat. We did get to do that. It's mobile food ordering, so you sit down in there at your table, you scan the QR code on the table, you order what you want to order. They will bring it to you and all that good stuff. They have special drinks in there and all that stuff. Which are very good. I can't remember. It's like a grain nectar. It tastes good, but there's also a special drink at the Coke Freestyle machine, the Coca-Cola Freestyle machine. Stream and Berry, if I remember correctly, is what it was called. Very delicious. Very much highly recommend that as well. And it's really cool themed. My brother asked me a couple times, "How do you think this feels compared to um, the Monsters Cafe that used to reside in Universal's Orlando side, Universal Studios side of the resort?" And I don't think it lives up to that restaurant by any means. That restaurant was something extremely special what they're doing over there. This one is cool. Like this one's cool. It's got a really cool theme, darker vibe and all that stuff. The chandeliers look really awesome. They've got, puppets and all that stuff on the walls and all that stuff and like coffins and all this cool stuff. Definitely explore it. It's not as big to me as Monsters Cafe was, but it's still very cool and all that stuff. So really cool place. Other than that, they also have the Burning Blade Tavern, which is like a bar type area where you can go in there. A little compact, a little bit, and all that stuff. I will say shout out to the team member when he saw me and when he walked in there and saw me there. He did say it, and it's like, oh, be careful of him. He's a wolf man. Thank you, like thank you. That's the vibe I'm going for, I guess, and I got it. But that's where you get that's where you can get some like fun drinking vibes going on and all that stuff. Hang out in the area. It's cool theme behind the bar and all that stuff, and there's a Burning Blade Tavern pickup associated with that. And the other thing associated with that is the freaking windmill that catches on fire and all that stuff. Looks very cool. Looks very awesome. Better at nighttime, from what I understand. It's all daytime wise, but it's it's cool, man. Like the Burning Blade Tavern is something that's just a fun vibe, man. Fun kick around vibe for you to hang out. Let's go back to Super Nintendo World real quick, just so I can tell you the eateries. I didn't really eat at any of them, but you do have a Toadstool Cafe. You have a Turbo Boost Treats. You have a Yoshi Snack Island, and then you have the Bubbly Barrel, which that is where I get my barrel of banana ice cream dealio. So there you go, man. From there, we did explore Grand Helios for a second, and when I say for in a second, we didn't do much in there. We kind of thought about eating in there, but nothing was open at the time we walked in there for us to eat at. So we kind of just looked at it. It looks good. Like it looks like a very big hotel. It looks awesome outside. Like if you stay at Grand Helios, like you take a couple steps, you're in Dark Universe when you come outside. So it's extremely close to Dark Universe. That is the dark closest land to it, and it's very cool. The theme is cool. They got some great statues out there. They got some water effects going on and all that stuff. There's a big freaking water vibe out there that's going to shoot water and all that stuff. It's cool, man. It's really cool and all that stuff. I can understand why people stay there. The prices, no bueno. The prices are insane for that place. So I don't know about ever staying there unless you get like a group of friends together and you all just like split it. Then maybe it's worth doing. But we'll see. There is a bar up top at the very top, very Aventura like. There's a bar up top where it gives you a very good view of the park itself. Now, of course, Grand Helios is in the theme park as opposed to Aventura that's not in the theme park. But Grand Helios looks great. I understand the thought process of it, all that stuff. From there, we went to the Wizarding World of Harry Potter Ministry of Magic, which only has one ride in it. Um, the ride is Harry Potter and the Battle at the Ministry. The ride is unfortunately, and this is another con with this, and it's a con I have with Disney, is that this ride, unfortunately, and for the love of all things holy, I hope this changes once the theme park opens up. But for some godforsaken reason, they have decided to do virtual queue line for this ride. The worst thing that I think theme parks have ever come up with, other than making rides accessible for people of all types, is this. Virtual queue is the absolute worst. Like trying, you're like, only certain hours you can do it. You got to open your app real quick and all that stuff. And, there's other people who are chronically on their phones. So they already got it up. They're freaking pointing it. They get all the spots. You don't get to ride. Right. And it's just, what can you do? It's stupid, it's unnecessary, it's ridiculous. Get rid of it. The ride did seem to go down a good bit as well um, at our time at that park, so we didn't really get to explore that one. Like I got to explore the Monsters Unchained one. I didn't explore that one because there's people up front and their virtual queue and all that stuff, and it's just not, it didn't seem like it was possible for us to do. My brother and I didn't think it was something that we were going to be able to do. There was also a show in this land as well called the Cirque Arcanus. I suck at words. But a circus show, pretty much live action family show that also went down during the time we were in the park and all that stuff. So again, technical rehearsal, it's going to happen and all that stuff. Dining areas, there are four of them in there. You got Cafe L'air de la I don't know. It's very French. So the area itself is themed mostly towards Fantastic Beasts, except for the ride that they made Ministry of Magic and all that stuff. And I'm a Wizarding World fan. So when I say this, it hurts a little bit. It's not. It's underwhelming to me. And maybe mostly because I'm overly comparing it to what we get with Diagon Alley. The entrance to Diagon Alley is very pre-portal, if you will, from what Epic Universe is doing with these portals. Diagon Alley, if you've seen the movies, you know how Diagon Alley works, and they kind of recreated that in a theme park very well, to where you walk behind this place, you can walk through the outcuts of the bricks and all that stuff. You walk in there, amazing view of Diagon Alley and all this stuff. You got the dragon up there breathing fire, incredible. This one, a little underwhelming. It looks great, it looks good and all that stuff, but it's not something that I'm gonna overly say that I was overly impressed with. And I can say anything that isn't really took my breath away walking into that area, like probably the lower reveals of the theme park and all that stuff. The restaurants, you get what you get with these things, but you do have four areas. So that one I couldn't pronounce. I can't pronounce any of these because I don't know French. But Le Goblet Noir, um, Bar Moonshine, and then um, Bearberg Cart, which I think has butterbeer. So there is butterbeer in the park. So of course you can get that stuff. There's a special crepe at the Cafe Laird de la Sirloin, all that stuff. My brother got that, said he loved it, and all that stuff. There are specialty drinks in there as well, and all that stuff. So they do a good job with theming and everything. It just didn't, overly, and I'm very annoyed at the ridiculousness that is Virtual Queue. From there, we went to How to Train Your Dragon Land, which the Isle of Berk is the name of that one. So, How to Train Your Dragon, the Isle of Berk, trying to maneuver around this app is insane. All of its rides were down in the time I was there. Like one of them was maybe going, but again, the area, and I've seen this in other people's vlogs, that area seems to be the worst when it comes to the rides running and all that stuff. When they are running, my brother did one of them, said it was fantastic. He did I think it was Hiccups Wing Gliders, which is like a roller coaster and all that stuff. He said it was really cool, which looks good. Like Dragon Racers Rally is the other ride. You got Vikings Training Camp, and you've got Fire Drill and all that stuff. So there's four rides in there. This is pretty much your kid land of the park and all that stuff. But the reveal's good. Like the theming of that whole area is really good. A lot of animatronics again. Love them to death. Like so glad they went animatronic heavy with everything in the park in general. It was cool. It was my least anticipated land, but coming out of it, it's like it's third on the list of best reveals and best themed lands. Sorry, again, I love the Wizarding World to death, but that reveal didn't do it for me. But the ride is going to be awesome in the Wizarding World of Harry Potter Ministry of Magic. Like that Ministry of Magic ride is going to be really cool if it stays up and gets away from that stupid virtual queue. Like the theming I've seen in videos, I've seen some of the theming and fast forward through it because I want to experience it in person. But it's just, and they have test seats for everybody out there. So if you're wondering, there are test seats for everybody to check out. That ride was the worst of possibilities because at first I was like, "Ooh, I can do this ride," right? Because the seat is very Jimmy Fallon. Like if you've ridden the Jimmy Fallon ride, it's just a seatbelt, dude. Like it's just a seatbelt that goes over you. But the seatbelt went like this far, and I'm like, I mean, obviously dramatic, like maybe this far, but it you got to be like super skinny, man. Like I don't get. I don't get it. I don't get it, especially for a ride like that where it's one of those omni mover crane dealios, and all that stuff, which was an extremely tight fit with the other Harry Potter rides. But again, it's partially my fault. Like I'm not gonna sit here and not take blame. Like it's my fault for not being in shape. But at the same time, when you're getting these seats, you're like, what are we doing, guys? Like what are we doing? Why are we making this so hard for everybody? Like other people enjoy theme parks, There's other people other than the main demographic you're following towards. But overall, that's the con. Um, that's the con of the inclusivity for people, and virtual queue needs to go. Like virtual queue is the dumbest thing in the world. Thankfully, it's only that Harry Potter ride. Everything else doesn't seem to have a virtual queue issue. Wait times weren't all that bad when we were there and all that stuff. Like it's very well. The biggest thing I want to talk about with Epic Universe is that it is it's not compact, man. Like I think a lot of I don't know what the thought process was, but it seemed like when they built this new land that I think some people probably would have thought like it was a little bit smaller to walk around in and all that stuff, but it's not bad. Like even going to the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, for example, like the two worlds we do have, we have Hogsmeade and Diagon Alley, they're normally compact and they're very busy and it's just almost suffocating to walk through there. It's claustrophobic a little bit, but with this one, it's not like that. But of course, again, this is annual pass holder previews. General public starts coming in there. I don't know how bad it'll be, but it seems spacious enough where it won't be too much of a problem. Not as bad as other ones, but it could be. There's some tight corners in there as well. But that was something that I was very happily, pleasantly surprised with is the ability to walk through all of these lanes and not feel overly trapped, and I feel like I can't move or anything. Now, of course, there's those people who don't have theme park etiquette and they get in the way, or they're just standing in the middle of a walkway, or they just stop right in front of you for no reason. You're gonna have those things, but overall, it's spacious, man. It's spacious to walk around. Again, annual pass holder preview and general public gets in there. Maybe it's a little bit tougher, but I don't see it being that much of a problem. Um, Another thing people I've seen complaining about are the amount of stairs in the worlds. Like, so Super Nintendo is up and down. To leave the park, you don't have to go back upstairs. There is an exit over there and all that stuff. There are exits to all these lands to where you don't have to go back through the portal. Um, there are a lot of stairs, but if you're somebody who has a physical, like, if there's something that makes you physically incapable to go up and down stairs. Again, I'm an overweight guy. I've got extremely bad knees, very bad ankles because I've treated my body very poorly. Um, I didn't run into any issues with the stairs. I understand there's people with physical incapabilities, and I understand all that stuff. So if you're one of those people, I hear you. But the amount of complaining about stairs, I know what we're talking about. But yeah, there's stairs there. It's fine. Again, sensitive to people who have, physical incapabilities and all that stuff. But, you know, I think it was just something people looked to complain about. But overall, easy to get around the park. Doesn't seem it's not that hard to get around the park and all that stuff. Like, you can walk straight across from Super Nintendo World to pretty much like you do a little that, but from there to these lanes are all very easy to get to. It's very easy to get through. You can walk through Grand Helios. Grand Helios, a lot of security. A lot of security with Grand Helios, walking in there and all that stuff, and they'll check your room key and all that, and you'll go through the security measures to get back into the park like you would anywhere else. But insanely cool, man. Like, Epic Universe is living up to the hype for sure, especially and again, this is annual pass holder previews, right? So there's a whole lot of things they still got to work out. There's a lot of things they got to figure out. There's a lot of things they need to put together and all that stuff. Freaking go back real quick. Let's go back to Dark Universe because I just saw the photo over here. Like I mentioned, did eat at Das Steakhouse, and I got this treat with my food. I ordered this treat separately. That thing right there, delicious, man. Delicious. Like a red velvet cake with some frosting on the inside, like a little dippy cake, man. Ah, so good. So good. That skull is dark chocolate, so just let you know that on the front part. That was probably the nasty part. But the rest of that thing, so good. So good. This fat kid, very happy about that. Um, but overall, man, the experience at Epic Universe for the annual pass holder preview, very appreciative that Universal did annual pass holder previews and all that stuff. I'm not media. I don't get a media invite or anything like that. I'm not big enough for that. Probably never will be. Who knows? If I am, who knows if I'll accept it? Maybe. Okay. Probably. I don't know. But um, I'm just speaking from the hip here and all this stuff. And I do love the park. Like, I want to go back. I'm excited to go back. I don't know when I'll be back. Definitely planning during the Halloween Horror Nights trip to do a day with Epic Universe, but I loved it, man. Like, my favorite land is, of course, Dark Universe, followed very closely by Super Nintendo World. And again, I'm somebody who wasn't able to ride anything, so let that be something for you as well. If you're somebody like myself on the fluffy side, or if you're on the tall side, or anything like that, where you're worrying about if you're able to have a good time at the theme park, yes, you are. You absolutely are 100% able to have a good time at this park with just everything you're seeing and everything you're experiencing and all that stuff. It'd be great to ride the rides and all that eventually, but it's still a good time, and just being in those worlds and experiencing those things was something that I can't stop thinking about. Like, I'm still thinking about the Dark Universe and Super Nintendo World, and just how cool and how immersive and how well those two worlds are put together, and just how the fact that, like, Super Nintendo World's right here, you walk over here, Dark Universe is right here, and you don't run into each other all that much. Like, you don't see it when you're in the lands. You don't have any of these issues and all that. Like, even with Grand Helios right there, next to Dark Universe, I feel like I didn't see it. Maybe I wasn't looking for it because I was so captivated by everything I was seeing in the land. But like, I feel like I didn't run into any areas where I was like seeing the other lands, and anything like that while I was in the lands. Like, it's very immersive. It's very well put together. It's very well created. So if you get the chance, if you're annual pass holder and you're looking to do the preview, do it, man. Like, go there. It's probably the less amount of crowds you're going to have. It's worth your time. It's worth seeing everything. Celestial Park is probably the part we didn't spend that much time in. Um, but it is beautiful. It looks great. They have a really cool carousel there. They got really cool um, statues, the water effects and all that stuff that's going on in Celestial Park's great. It looks cool. It looks fun and all that. Great food areas. Merch is good. Merch is really good. Again, I don't ever see myself buying one of those Nintendo shirts or anything like that. Like I don't have like my Mario character or anything, but they look fun and all that stuff. Obviously, merchandise for somebody like me is going to be mostly Dark Universe driven. I did look at some of the Harry Potter stuff, looked at some of the Hufflepuff stuff, thought about it, but didn't end up getting it and all that stuff. We'll see how merch goes from there, but overall, man, absolutely gonna be and is an incredible park. Like obviously they're still working out their kinks and all that stuff, but it's it's so flipping good, man. It is so good. Like it is worth your time to take to go to that park when you get the chance to. It's going to be a madhouse for a while when it opens, as is a lot of new things. But man, if you're hoping for the best with it, it's awesome. Stella Nova, I did do a room tour. I did do a room tour at Stella Nova. If you want to check that out, not a vlogger. It's probably the worst video you'll ever see in your life, but it gets the job done. It gets the job done. You get a tour of the room. Um, Stella Nova's fine. It's nothing's gonna beat Aventura for me, I think, but it's fine. It's fine. I'm gonna try to stay at Terra Luna next trip. Grand Helios again. If you got like a group of friends that can split the bill with you, probably worth a try. I don't know. I haven't really looked at the rooms or anything like that because when I saw that price point, phew, out of there, out of there real quick. But I get the idea. It's really cool that it's right there beside Dark Universe. But yeah, man, like overall, Epic Universe is lives up to its name. It's epic, and they're still working things out, man. So if it's this awesome now, can't imagine how great it's going to be. After it's been open for a little bit, a couple months. Again, I hope to be back during the Halloween Horror Nights trip. I plan to be back. Not even hope I will be back at Epic Universe during that trip. Um, if not sooner, because I am clamoring to go back again. Somebody who can't ride anything. I just want to be back in that world. Like I want to be back in that world and experiencing everything. Like I want to give the Wizarding World of Harry Potter more of a chance. You know, Again, it's mostly themed toward Fantastic Beasts, which is fine. I love the Fantastic. I'm okay with the Fantastic Beasts. Don't love it. I'm okay with it. I like seeing Nifflers and stuff like that. It's cool. Like it's really cool. Um, the ride's got to get away from virtual queue. Um, but touring that queue would be awesome, and just the effects that seem to go on during that. The show, I could watch the show if it was working, right? Um, there's a show also on How to Train Your Dragonland. Um, if it's working. It'd be great to see. But again, technical rehearsals, don't hold that against them by any means. The theme park is not open at all right now. And let's give them some leadway even when the theme park opens. Every theme park has its problems. Look back to the opening of Disneyland. Like it had its issues as well on opening day. So give it time, let it live, but it's beautiful, man. It's worth it. The shuttle is great. They have themed shuttles and all that stuff. The shuttle bus from like the Stella Nova Terra Luna to the theme park is easy because theme park's like right across the street. You can walk to it. It's a good walk. But for people who are in better shape than me, probably not that hard of a walk. But you could walk to it. But the cool thing is with the shuttle buses coming from this lane, like they have their own lane for a good bit of the road heading towards Universal Orlando and City Walk and all that stuff. Um, it's cool. They have their own lane and all this stuff. Like it's a really cool effect. But overall, Epic Universe, fantastic. Lives up to the name. It is epically awesome. Worth your time. Worth you to go check out and have a good time in. Dark Universe is my favorite land. Super Nintendo World is extremely awesome. Go have a good time. How to Train Your Dragon. I'm sure it's a lot of fun. Wizarding World Harry Potter you gotta get used to. Gotta get used to, gotta get rid of that virtual queue and all that stuff. So I gave you my pros, gave you my cons. I kept it real like I always do on the show. Showed you my merch, man. Remember, this is a spoon and your freaking banana thing that I highly suggest getting. That thing is delicious. But yeah, that's gonna do it, man. Appreciate you hanging out with me with this different kind of review. We'll be back with movie reviews for not too long. Be on the lookout for my other show, Into the Fog with Wolfman Rob. Please follow and subscribe to that channel as well. We do fun Halloween Horror Nights talk over there. That's gonna do it, man, for this week. As always, like to remember, I'd like to remind you that you are amazing, you matter, you are capable of incredible, incredible things. You as well can be very epic. You are epic, man. Trust yourself, believe in yourself, love yourself, treat yourself with kindness as well as others. And just always remember that happiness can be found even in the darkest of times if one only remembers to turn on the light. Talk to you all next episode.